the fruit of all this recovery stuff that we talk about in the Recovered Dad, all the recovering from understanding my emotions, being aware of myself, aware of my emotions, aware of my thoughts, it pays real world dividends. Gentlemen, good to be here. Good to be here. Welcome back to the podcast land. Co-host Yaden Smith with my partner in recovery, Matt Singovist. We're here on the Recovered Dad podcast. Matt, what is up, boss? What's the weather like up there in Pennsylvania, right? I'm sitting here recording in a t-shirt. Granted, I have the heat on in my office. You're in your that looks like a super thick hoodie.
It is, my brother. It is. Now, I can't believe this, but my temperature right now is saying 7 degrees, which just sounds,
what? We are 60 degrees higher than that down here. 67 degrees is what it says on my phone.
Oh, correction. It just jumped to 8, Yaden. So I'm mistaken. Yeah.
Oh man, a nice balmy 8 degrees. Okay, yeah. That's why you're not wearing your hat.
Wow.
Well, man, if you're out there listening, welcome back to the podcast, where we talk about recovery, we talk about fatherhood, we talk about what is life, how can you live life as a recovered dad. And I want to start off this episode with a story.
Perfect.
With a moment that happened to me just today. So this is, and I'm telling this story because this is kind of the fruit that I have seen in my life from recovering from porn addiction, practicing these recovery habits in my life, becoming more emotionally regulated, creating more safe psychological space for my children, for my wife, just growing in every area. So my wife and I, we have an event planned where we're getting out of town, going to a local inn for the weekend. Ooh. Kind of a fancy place. You know, we're celebrating one of those milestones in life. Actually, we're celebrating 20-year anniversary.
Wow.
Celebrating, we're coming up on 20 years. And we're going to this local kind of bed and breakfast place on the river out in the woods. And just this morning, I got a text message from my 18-year-old son. And actually, I'm going to pull it up so I can read it verbatim, right? Quote, "Just vacuumed out the car for you." I'm like, just out of nowhere, he texts me this. And I responded, "Thank you mucho. Which car?" To which he responds, "Mine." I'm like, and in my head, I'm thinking I know I drove his car for a couple days, like a week or two ago. Did I accidentally drop the Chick-fil-A fries in the bottom? Did I leave a mess? Did I leave it a disaster? So I asked him, did I mess it up and leave it dirty? He's like, no. I figured, and then he texts again, "I figured you could take it this weekend when y'all go out of town."
Oh, man.
Now, y'all, check this out. My son is 18. He has a cherry red. He has a Cop Magnet car. It is a bright red Subaru WRX with this big ass spoiler on the back. And I've had, if you're not familiar with the WRX, it's all-wheel drive, manual transmission, 6-speed, 200 plus horsepower, 4-boxer engine. That thing flies. In fact, I've had to have a conversation with my son, like, hey, if you go over 100 miles an hour again, you lose access to the car. Because he's paying the bank of dad. I bought the car and he's paying me back for it. So technically it's not his yet. He's on his way paying it off, being diligent, being responsible. But keep that in mind. This is an 18-year-old boy who is planning to meet with a tattoo artist in the very near future to get his first tattoo. Total metalhead. Thrashes on the drums, hangs out with his buddies, plays Dungeons and Dragons, right? And drives this really badass teenage boy car. And just out of nowhere, unprompted, I didn't ask if I could borrow the car. He just sent me a text message saying he vacuumed out the car for me so that his mother and I could take the fancy car. It's the nicest car in the cars we have as a family.
The fleet.
Right. In the fleet of it, we have the minivan, right? Of course, you have a minivan with 4 kids. I have my truck from 2011, which none of my family likes to drive except for my 13-year-old son, Oliver. He drives it when we're out at the farm. But nobody likes to drive the big ass truck. And we have a Lincoln Town Car where the only thing automatic about it is the transmission. Nothing else works, right? Half the windows don't work. The doors are kind of, the upholstery is all wonky on the inside, but that engine will never quit. It's like the family, it's the family shit box, right? Everybody learns how to drive on it. It's been in a wreck. We've had it repaired. So in the fleet of family cars, my son's 2017 Subaru WRX Premium is the fanciest ride we have. And out of nowhere, he just texted me this morning saying, hey, I got the car all cleaned out, vacuumed out on the inside. Figured you and mom could take it for the weekend where you're going. And literally my eyes teared up in the midst of this conversation. Mm-hmm. Because I was just in awe of how my son being generous, being responsible, being so aware of what's going on in his, not just what's going on in his life, right? Every 18-year-old is very aware of what's going on in their life. My dad is all up in my business and overbearing and trying to control my life and done blah, 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 right? If teenagers are aware, they're aware of themselves. And here's this 18-year-old who is thinking about his dad taking his mom out on their 20th anniversary weekend to go to this fancy pants inn. He's like, hey, I'm going to get my car cleaned out because I figure they can take the nice car this weekend. And y'all, I mean, literally, my eyes teared up, probably because of the dust. My eyes teared up like, how special. Whether we take the car or not, doesn't matter. Because honestly, my wife probably wants to go in the minivan because then we can pack everything we need, not have to worry about it. And it's the Subaru is low to the ground, high performance. Minivan is luxury compared to riding in the manual transmission. Not quite as much fun, but a lot more comfy. And in our 40s, like comfy is important when you get to my age. So I haven't told him, I don't know if it'll work. I don't know if mom wants to go in the Subaru. But I was just sitting in that moment, grateful for the work that I have done to be my son's friend, not just his father. Because most of the time we have with our kids, by the time they turn 12, we have experienced 75% of the entirety of time we will have with our children. Once they hit 12, the time that we as dads have with our kids starts to fall off a cliff. They have their own stuff. They have their own activities. They have their own friend groups. They want to do their own activities. If they go off to college, they move away. When I moved off to college, that was it. I remember my dad telling me when I moved away to college, he's like, my son has left home, and my son doesn't even realize that's what's just happened. So the reason I'm telling this story, the reason I'm telling this incident is because this good incident, it's a testament to the power of the recovery habits of being a recovered dad. building those connections with my children that will endure beyond childhood. I look forward to the day when my son is my age now, when he's 45. Be like, hey man, let's go grab a beer. Let's go for a run. Let's go get lunch. Let's go hang out as two adult men living life, interacting that way. I'm still not sure a tattoo is a good idea, but he is 18 and I know it's a one-way street and I'm going to have all the conversations with him. And if he learns that, oh, tattoos are way more painful than I thought, well, that's going to be a painful lesson in more ways than one. So it was a really poignant moment that I experienced this morning that I can credit directly to the work of recovery, the work of emotional regulation, the work of growing as a man, growing as a father, to really connect with my sons, with my children. So that's like the positive experience. That's the fruit of all this recovery stuff that we talk about in the Recovered Dad. All the recovering from understanding my emotions, being aware of myself, aware of my emotions, aware of my thoughts. It pays real world dividends in moments like this.
Beautiful, brother. So if you were to provide a framework maybe, or some keys to this Recovered Dad framework or rhythm, what might they look like in your life?
You know, for me, what the framework looks like is a daily routine that I hit with, I don't want to say absolute rock solid consistency, because if you're out there listening and you're a dad, you know, ain't no such thing as you do something every single day. If you're a dad with young kids, sometimes you don't even get to sleep in a day, right? You definitely don't get enough sleep in a day. But this connection is the result of the dailiness of life, the dailiness of active recovery, active growth, active connection. So here's what my framework looks like. So for context, we have 4 kids, 18, 15, 13, and 10. 18 has graduated from high school. 15 is taking dual credit classes. We homeschool him. 13 is in middle school. We homeschool him. 10-year-old is in elementary school. Elementary school is like 4 blocks away, right outside the neighborhood. So what my routine looks like on a daily basis. My alarm goes off at 3 a.m. No, I'm kidding. Calm down. All right. My watch buzzes me awake at 6 a.m. Oftentimes I wake up ahead of time, 5:30, 5:45. I just wake up on my own. Get up happens at 6 a.m. And the first part of my day is getting my daughter to school. Got to get out of the house by 6:30 to get her. She volunteers at the school, serving coffee to the teachers, get her there. And occasionally, this is not an everyday thing, but sometimes with my daughter in the truck, I'll turn on my meditation app and we'll just listen to a meditation while we're driving to school to drop her off. But if we're just driving there, dropping her off, and I'm coming home, here's what it looks like. As soon as I get home, I get to work on my daily core 4. The core 4 is, these are the daily habits that we teach in the Liberation Boot Camp for men going through the recovery boot camp of exercise, reading, journaling, and meditation. The goal is hitting those with consistency every day. What it looks like is going to be different for every man. For me, this is what it looks like. I get home. We have 3 dogs. I get the dogs their food, their breakfast in the morning, hook them up to the leashes, and we go for a walk. I have a 15-minute walk route that I do with the dogs every morning. During that 15 minutes, so that's my exercise. I'm going for a 15-minute walk every day. Doesn't have to be sweating my butt off in the gym or running a 5K. For me, my exercise routine is real simple. I go for a 15-minute walk. On the walk, I turn on my audiobook. Currently, the book that I'm listening to is called The Secret of Love. And let me see what there's a subtitle. Unlock the Mystery, Unleash the Magic. Talking about love and relationships with family, navigating difficult situations, always coming back to love. That's kind of the premise of the book. So I'm listening to the book while I'm on my walk. Generally, I'll listen to the book. Depends on whether it's really interesting. Sometimes I'll listen to the book for the whole walk. Sometimes on my way out. And then on my way back in the walk, again, I pull out my phone and I have my journaling app. I've been journaling off and on most of my life. But when my 13-year-old son was born, I started journaling electronically, a digital journal, which I love for a couple reasons. One of the biggest reasons is I can just talk into the phone, voice to text. I can talk into the phone, just brain dump my thoughts, what's going on. Sometimes I'll talk about what's going on from the book, a lesson, just an insight I had from whatever I'm listening to on my audiobook. Sometimes it's, man, I'm dealing with some heavy emotions and I just need to identify what those are and what's going on in my life. Unpack what's happening internally or the story in my head that's playing out. So we have 3 of the core 4 so far. Exercise is the walk. I'm stacking all these habits together. I'm listening to my book on the walk, journaling while I'm on the walk. And when I get home, I'll turn on my meditation app. Usually it's 10-ish minutes every day. Turn on the meditation app, sit in my chair, and go through a 10-minute meditation, guided meditation. The app I use is called Waking Up by Sam Harris. I've been using it now for well over a year. It really has, it helped me engage with meditation in a way that I tried with other programs, but didn't really click. So meditate for 10 minutes, just practicing the skill of noticing my emotions and noticing my thoughts, practicing that skill. And that's my core 4. Time-wise, it doesn't even take 30 minutes because I can stack all these habits on top of each other with the walk and the book and the journaling. Meditation, just sitting in my chair. Every now and then, though, I'll be on a walk and be like, you know what? I'm going to turn on my meditation app and I'm going to do a walking meditation. So my core 4, I get done first thing in the morning. Well, not exactly the first thing, but as soon as I can in the morning. Right after I drop my daughter off at school, back at the house, going through my core 4 morning routine. And then on with my day. Fix my latte. Go for it, bro.
Go ahead and continue. I want to mark that. I want to mark that first C as a foundational piece of this framework. Is the core.
Yeah. So core 4, that's our first C.
Yep.
Core 4.
We're giving you 3 C's today. We're giving you 3 C's of this daily recovery rhythm.
This is like all those great sermons you've heard at church, right? There's 3 topics, right? Today we're going to talk about A, B, and C. A, B, C. And we talked about A, B, and C. So we got core 4. I get my core 4 done as soon in the day as is practical.
Ideally first thing. We borrowed a term from the warrior community, core 4 before the door. Like ideally before we get on with our day, our core 4 is done. We've handled our habits. We've taken care of ourselves. We've filled our cup, put our oxygen mask on first.
Yeah. Which I don't quite get done right out of the gate, out of bed.
Right.
Because of my sleep routines and my sleep patterns and how much sleep I know that I need to get. But my core 4, first thing in the day, right after my daughter's dropped off at school, I'm starting my core 4 before 7 a.m.
Yep.
Core 4. Second C, community. After I get my core 4 done, I'm checking in with the Liberation Bootcamp guys. I'm checking in with the Recovered Dad brothers. Checking in on our app saying, hey guys, core 4 is complete. Marking that my core 4 is complete. Checking in to see just if anything else is present. Listening to other check-ins from other men. Offering support as I can. Checking in with the community and being visible around my recovery habits. Keeps me honest. Second C, community. Yeah.
To tag on that, well, so maybe you're going to blend this third C with the calls, but I also want to speak with as we relate to calls, those regular connection calls as part of the community. A critical piece of the puzzle is having that community support where you can show up, be visible, check in, connect that way.
Oh, absolutely. And the second and third C, community and connection, right? So we got core 4, community, connection. Community and connection, they blend together all over the place.
Yeah.
In the Liberation Boot Camp, in the Recover Dad program, we have calls different times of the week where men show up, be visible, check in what's going on in their lives, how they're doing with the recovery program, where they are in the boot camp, lessons they're learning. We got calls on Wednesday. We got calls on Saturday where there's more time to connect with other men who are on this same journey of life, other dads who are working to become the best version of themselves.
Yep.
So community and connection kind of overlap a lot,
right?
Because we can connect on the Voxer app, we connect on midweek huddle, on our weekly call that we have. So core 4, community and connection. Those are the big 3 C's that I really try and work on every single. Now, if we don't have a call that day, I'm checking in on the Voxer app. Just how's everybody doing? Here's where I am. Here's what I'm working on today.
Yep.
Core 4 is complete. Or I'm struggling. I really feel the pull of addiction today. That inner addict is talking to me and I got to figure out what's going on. But those habits, that daily practice of core 4, exercise, journaling, reading, and meditation, connecting with the community. Yeah, it is a critical piece of this daily rhythm that has led me to moments like this with my 18-year-old son.
Yep. So one more piece I want to touch on to that point is part of the intention, I think, also with this connection piece is, so you've got the core 4, your first C, you've got community, which is your brotherhood, right? Critical piece of the puzzle, guys, is to have other men you can show up and relate with within this journey, both as it relates to, but just being a man, being a father, being a husband in life, right? Connection, visibility, accountability, right? And the connection piece, yes, absolutely comes from community, is a big part. But also, you know, I'm curious, would you be willing to speak to, you kind of spoken to it already, but like, how about connection with your wife? How about connection with your family? How about connection with your kids? It kind of ties this whole lesson today with the story of this relationship with your son, which, like, those deposits in those relationships and creating that connection every day, like, such a critical piece of this puzzle. Like,
you know, that's a really good point, Matt. And the connection piece with my family, my immediate family, my wife and children, the way I'm able to show up now that I've been active, now that I've, you know, found sobriety and been active in my recovery now, I get to show up with this newfound inner peace, right? My 18-year-old son talking about, yeah, I'm trying to make an appointment with this tattoo artist to have a consult, right? Old Yaden would be like, oh, hell no, you ain't. No. Let's just lock that down. That's a nope, not doing that. But y'all, he's 18. He could just leave. He could just move out. Now, would he make it? I don't know. It's tough out there. Rent ain't cheap. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, if you're going to move out, bro, like, you're going to be on your own. That's rough. But building these connection pieces with my children through a regular, through regular practice of connecting with them individually and being able to show up without my own emotions controlling the show, right? You may have heard the phrase out there, be the thermostat, not the thermometer. Old me, all I was a thermometer. Somebody got frazzled. Oh, I'm uncomfortable with you being upset. So I'm going to get more upset so I can shut down your upsetness. And then we can all go back to being happy. But now in the recovered dad, now that I'm a recovered, it's, oh, this is what you're going through. What does that feel like? What's that like for you? Your experience of life at 18 is very different than my experience of life at 18. It's a different world with every generation. And me being able to engage in connecting conversations instead of just the classic, it's my way or the highway, my house, my rules, get in line or get out.
Yeah, and I got to speak to also, it's just to supplement this piece. It's in what I've observed within you. It's these deposits that you're regularly making within your family relationships that allow you to have this quality of relationship with your kids, like navigating a challenge, maybe with a relational challenge within a relationship with your kids, right? Like having those conversations, making deposits within those conversations, saying, hey, let's go to the music festival together. Hey, let's grab lunch together. It's like building that relational capital, making those deposits within the relational capital allow for the connection to be had on a regular basis. And when it really matters, to connect versus withdrawal, be
absolutely
isolated,
right. It's making those deposits well in advance with consistency, over and over and over again.
Because the opposite of addiction is not sobriety, it's
connection. The opposite of addiction is connection.
Bring it on, baby.
Knowing that you have a safe place to bring the dark shit that you're going through in life. Yeah. As a dad, being able to connect with the community, other men. If you're a dad, you know what it's like to fly off the handle. And if you don't, do you even dad? Right? It's like, what it's like to be frustrated, to just lose it. Being able to unpack that with other men where there's no fear, guilt, shame, or judgment. Being able to let my children bring their dark places to me without me judging them or bringing guilt, fear, or shame into the conversation. It's translated into me being able to show it for my children in a way that I wasn't able to before, which has created all this safe psychological space, this safe emotional space that, I can bring what's really going on to my dad and he's not going to lose it. He can handle what's going on. He can handle what's going on in himself, so he can handle what's going on in me.
He's safe.
Yeah. There you go. That's all I got today.
Beautiful, brother. Bravo, bravo. Great share, great insights, beautiful gold extracted from your life and I think from the template of what it is to be a father in this recovery journey. Yaden, for men who are interested in learning more about these concepts, these ideas, this process, this framework, where can they learn more?
Man, if you're out there listening, first, thank you. Thank you for listening. Thanks for going on this journey with us. If you want to connect that second C, right? If you want to connect, actually the third C, if you want to connect, check us out, therecovereddad.com. If you want to talk with Matt or me, right, there's somewhere on there, you can book a call. You can learn about the Liberation Bootcamp, which is the flagship program we have for recovery from addiction. Some free resources there on the website. But Dad, you are not alone in this struggle, in this climbing up this mountain of life with all the weight and all the pressure that you're carrying. You're not alone. Head on over to therecovereddad.com. Check us out. Let's talk. We want to support you on this journey with whatever resources we have.
Beautiful. Thank you, brothers. Thank you, Yaden.
Thank you, men, for listening. Peace,
Peace.
power,
Our brothers, noble men.
noble men. We'll see you next time.